the?
Hi.
Hey,
How are you doing?
I am fine.
Good. That's nice.
Who are you?
I am your partner in life.
And crime. Okay.
Oh, I don't do crimes. Or at least I try not to do crimes. I guess I do. I technically would do crimes if I didn't agree with the law that criminalized the thing.
There were no laws, I'd do crimes.
Well, no, that's not what I'm saying.
I would. That's what I'm saying.
Like murder is a crime. I agree with that. That should be a crime.
Right.
Right. But stealing bread to feed your family when you're starving is also a crime. I disagree with that.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
All right. That's okay. That's
Capitalism is a crime.
There you go.
I disagree with it. Right.
But we have to conform on that a little bit.
Well, I guess what I'm like, my point is like not all laws make sense.
Mm-hmm. Right. And also the punishments rarely fit the crime. Rarely.
Yeah. Especially if they are, going for like, if you compare like a white person doing a crime versus a marginalized person doing a crime. And I'm being very vague there because they're, black, brown, indigenous people all get the same treatment in the prison system that white people don't, right? It's a double standard.
Mm-hmm.
Like a white person gets way less time on average for the same crime a black person would.
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
Yeah.
That's criminal.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, how are you doing?
Oh boy. Okay. So
we went on a way big tangent on crime there. Sorry.
Yes. So I've had a 24-year-old as a child for the last 24 hours. And
I thought you were going to say for 24 years. And I was like, nah.
For the last 24 hours.
Yeah.
And it's pretty cool.
Yeah, he's a cool kid.
He turned 24 yesterday. And it's really cool.
Yeah. Cactus desert theme for the birthday. That was cool.
Yeah, we kind of took him back to the good parts of Arizona-ish.
Yeah. Which is where he was born originally, right? He
was like loving and thankful, and we made 2 apple pies together, and it was a good day.
Yeah, that I will say.
Yeah, I go, hey, are you going to have some apple pie? And you go, no, I'm not a fan of fruit pies. So then when pie time came, I'm like, do you want a bite of this? Yeah, I'll have a bite of this. And your face was very flippant. And then...
Well, it looked good. And I was kind of hopeful.
And then you took a bite. You're like, yeah, you're going to have to get your own. I'm keeping this one.
It is literally the best apple pie I've ever tasted.
Yay.
So good.
Yeah, we did good on this one.
I can't stop thinking about it, actually. It was a really delicious pie.
I'm pretty thankful and very proud of ourselves because we did it.
I just feel like fruit pies are the easiest ones to fuck up.
Yeah, you know why? And I've done some research on this bullshit. Yeah. Almost every recipe you're going to find, when you look up how to make an apple pie, you're going to find at least 8 recipes that say, roll out your dough, put your dough into a pie plate, poke holes in your dough, then put your fruit filling in, then put a top on it if you want.
Yeah.
Then bake it for however long, whatever long. No.
Soggy crust.
Every time you're gonna have soggy, undone crust, and I could not fucking figure it out for the life of me until you dig way deeper and and then you go to these blogs of I got this recipe from my grandmother who grew up in the teens.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that's where I'm looking for, right? Because that's
grew up in the the
19 teens, right? Depression
1913
times.
Apple pie, see?
Right, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And so then it's like, no, now you gotta cook the crust separate in a double blind, quote unquote.
Yeah.
And then you can put in your fruit, because otherwise your gosh dang fruit is sitting there just juicing out all over the place.
Yeah.
And the crust doesn't get cooked.
Yeah.
But this time, so that's what I did. I got the what is it called? The pie weights and all that stuff. And I cooked the crust first. And then we put the filling in that we made from scratch after we peeled a bunch of apples. And then we put then we put the fruit filling in, and then we put the top on, and it was great. It came out fine.
I
So
saw it.
don't listen to them when they tell you, just roll out your dough and put your filling in. Don't do it. Don't.
I saw it sitting on the counter. I was like, oh, that looks pretty good. And then when you cut into it, I was like, oh shit. Right? And it wasn't soggy on the bottom or nothing. And I was like, oh,
It was a
okay.
little bit more pressure. I definitely deep dived because it was a birthday wish.
Yeah.
And that's, I can't mess up. Like I can mess up on a,
You always knock those
you
out
know,
of the
a
park.
Christmas one or whatever, but
Yeah.
I cannot mess up on a birthday one.
Yeah. You knock it out of the park for birthdays every time.
Phew.
Every
Anyways,
time.
he's been 24 for 24 hours. And it's not all that different, which I'm very...
No, I mean, he's
yeah,
technically been 24 for the whole year.
okay, but at the same
Your
time,
birthday
you
is
always
the
think
end
it's going
of
to...
your 24. Like
I never really predicted what it would be like to have like grown-up kids.
yeah.
When you think about having kids, you would think about babies, right? First thing. And then you think about, oh, these things are going to turn into like toddlers.
Right.
But then you never really like think past that because that babyhood, toddlerhood just goes on and on and on forever.
Right.
And then you're like, okay, you're 10. You're pretty cool. Let's play. Okay, now it's time for you to go somewhere else and me to sit here. And then when they're teenagers, they're like, okay, you know, it's the opposite. They're like, okay, you sit here and I'll go somewhere else. But then when they're like 20 something, you're like, oh man, now I can carry on conversations.
Yeah.
And they really have like something special to say and like a new perspective on things.
Yeah.
It's really special. I'm really thankful about it.
Yeah. I like watching them create stuff. It's really cool. But like what I was saying is like when he turned 23, he started his 24th year. So
Yeah.
when he turns 24, that's it. That year's over. He's now starting his 25th year.
Correct.
Because we start counting at 0.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
and
yes.
so it's
Okay,
a
so
tally at the end of a lap.
Yeah, I get the way we're doing that. I get the way that happens.
Yeah.
It's just, you know.
Like I'm in my 49th year.
Okay, yes, but you haven't survived it yet, right? Like
Whoa.
sorry. It's
What in the world?
you know what it's you go back to the whole original thing of why we celebrate birthdays.
Oh.
And it's we've
Not a great day
completed
to say that,
sorry. We've completed that year, right?
Yeah.
So yes, he's made it through his 24th year,
Right.
right? I didn't mean to say you specifically because I know you're
Having a rough day.
I did it. So yes, when I turn 44, it's like I will have completed my 44th year.
Yeah.
Right. I get that. But that's not how it's usually used in just regular communication.
No, you're right. You're right. Because you do say for the whole year, I'm 48.
Right.
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 Until you turn 49, you say, I'm 48, I'm 48.
Yeah. And like it used to be told like, this is my 44th winter or something like that, right? Like you survived. That's where I got the survived word from.
Right.
It's like you survived how many winters,
Yeah.
right? I didn't mean you specifically. My bad on that one. Because I love you. I love you dearly, please.
No, I'm worried now.
No.
Super concerned.
Don't do it. I'm so sorry.
I'm super concerned about your plans for this year.
No. No.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Like I feel like we should be more accurate about it and say our ages in months.
No, because they do that when you have littler kids. They go, okay, so he's 47 months. I'm like, what? No, what? How many? I can't even.
Yeah.
No, I'm like, he's 2. What? I don't know what this months thing is.
Well, 24 months would be 2, so 40. What did you say? 47?
Yeah,
He's like 4. Who's saying that?
I don't know.
Have you heard somebody say 47 months? That's crazy.
Yes. Like
That's
there's
insane.
when you look for clothing or whatever, it's like 2T, and then there's like other things where it like goes up.
Oh, like 48 months?
Yeah, it does weird things, and I'm like, I just he's this big, and he's, you know.
I'm going to go with months from now on.
No, because then how many months would that be?
I don't know. I got to check.
That'd be 576 months.
Whoa, you're fast. Yeah, I'm 576.
No.
Hey, hello, James. I'm 576. What does that mean? Oh, months old. Sorry. Just got out of diapers.
No, my 576 month husband. That's silly.
Yeah.
That's so silly. I don't like the months thing. I think that's so silly.
But it feels like you live so much longer.
I guess, but
I wonder if that's what the original Bible people, like they said, there's some of those folks lived to like 900 years old.
Yeah, they were counting in months.
No, maybe they mistranslated and they meant months.
Make more sense. All right, should we talk about the game that we played?
There's a lot of mistranslations in the Bible.
Well, duh.
Yeah, let's talk. We played a game for this episode. It's been a while since we did that. And since we own so many games, I feel like it's irresponsible of us to not do podcast about it every once in a while. I do feel like, in some ways, if we wanted to make this podcast a thing we could do and make money doing it,
yeah,
we would have to focus on like a single topic, right? Like we could be like
balonies.
We could be a podcast about Friends, the TV show. Not that's a dumb, but you know what I mean? But if every episode is about the same thing and people keep tuning, like it's about getting people coming in and coming in.
I don't like
we're kind of all over the place
that much.
Yeah, me
and
neither.
Also, I am surprised that people listen to my face at all.
I know, but I just feel like our format that we're doing is like the kind of format that only celebrities can get away with. Right? Like, because celebrities go, and then I ran right into Michael Keaton and it was a crazy story. I want to hear this crazy story. And people are like, did you hear the crazy Michael Keaton story? And we're just like, our kid turned 24, right? Like, it's not as.
Nobody gives a shit. Shut up.
Right.
I get it.
But if we had like a thing, not saying it has to be games, but if we had like a thing that we had regular episodes about, they don't even have to all be that, right? But enough, like, your true crime things, right? Would you tune into a true crime podcast if every 4 episodes was true crime and the rest of them were like, bananas are really cool, right? Like, you wouldn't, right? You'd find a different true crime podcast.
Yeah, I guess, but
anyways, back to the game.
Okay.
That's just I was thinking about it today. Like,
okay, great.
I want the podcast to be something that more and more people can enjoy. It doesn't have to replace our jobs or be monetary or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But how do we get more people listening? It's either one of us goes and becomes a celebrity.
Or the other one stops talking about Metallica and how crappy they are.
Like, okay, so I've heard some things about them recently. I don't want to get too far into this, but I'm backing the track up. I no longer defend the use of master puppets in that show, and I don't want to have anything to do with that band at all.
What band is that? Say it.
The Metallica band.
Okay, good.
Because of the frankly white supremacist bullshit that they've been up to, and how they, these are things like, when I was growing up, we didn't hear about these things because we didn't have the internet.
Right. It's an informational age now.
You were there and saw it firsthand, or it didn't happen.
Exactly.
Right. But fuck, man, so many things, so many bad things. So I'm done with that. Also, just real quick on the music, my Vecna song is 9 to 5 by Dolly Parton. She's a national treasure. Nothing wrong with that song. It's totally anti-capitalist. It's fully me. And I love it. Right? I jump out of bed and I stumble to the kitchen, pour myself a cup of ambition, yawn and stretch and try to come alive. That's perfect. Vecna, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, there you go.
But I will say, I did look into the Neil Diamond thing. Not a problematic song, actually. He just says it's about all kinds of things are pretty cool. Like, okay, whatever.
Sure.
But the Talking Heads song that I mentioned in the very first time we mentioned Vecna songs, turns out David Byrne has at some point done blackface, which I don't condone. So I would not use Psycho Killer, even though wonderful song. I wouldn't use it as a Vecna song because I don't want to be connected to people who do that.
Yeah.
Now, whether or not he's apologized or made amends for that, I don't know. But I just, I'm not saying go cancel David Byrne. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
we all fucking up everywhere. Everybody's fucking up everywhere.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
All right. So to the game. The game is
I was
called...
right, basically. That's what you're
Jesus.
saying. You're saying I was right.
You were right, but I didn't know it at the time.
But right now, sitting here right now today,
Yeah.
I
feel like you were correct.
Yeah. Okay, that's as good as I'm going to get.
That's what you're going to get.
Okay.
All right. So we played a game called Caper Europe. It's by Keymaster Games. It's a 2-player only game. That means you can't play with more than 2 players. And it takes about 25 to 35 minutes to play.
It was very quick.
Yeah, I'd say that's probably true. The first game is a little bit longer, I think. But after that, we were 25 minutes. And
plus, you can find on YouTube, you can find on YouTube how it plays, right? So what's
Rodney Smith's how's it play?
Yeah.
No, how's it played? How's it played?
Yeah.
He does a video for
instructional video,
which is really good. I don't know how to pronounce the designer's name. I should have looked it up, but it's Unai Rubio. Unai?
Ooh.
I don't know if that's right.
Might be.
It might be.
This has a very French feel to it, so
it does. Yeah, it does. So, what did you think? Or how do you want to talk about it? Okay,
so what happened? Like, let's just components and stuff first. It's for ages 10 and up. Anyways, and so it's very cool art.
Do you feel like a 10-year-old could play that? And be successful at it? I mean, because there's some
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't, because
they could do the motions, but they might not understand the strategy.
Right.
Yep.
Because I'm 43. And
that's not what I meant.
And it was slightly difficult for me there's so many working like a lot of interactions. There's so many plates you've got to spin.
Yeah.
And keep them spinning. Otherwise, you can look and go, how'd you get all those masks?
Right.
And then you're humped, and so then you're behind. So there's different working order to it all.
Yeah.
And so you've got these locations, and we played with the art gallery, the bank, and the chapel for the first game.
Right.
And then you have these thieves, and there's the conductor, the barber, the mime, the banker, the madam. And then you place these thieves in front of these locations, and they give you little powers here and there based on the icons and the color of the card and stuff.
And each player has 3 slots on their side of the location where they can put a thief. So you can have up to 3 thieves on your side of the board for that location. And the other person can also have up to 3 thieves on their side for each location.
You're not going to be able to fill up every location with 3 thieves.
No, it's impossible. You only ever get to play 6 thieves total, and there are 9 slots. Yeah, so you have to decide where you want to.
You have to pick and choose very carefully.
I honestly believe that you cannot win all 3 locations.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Really, for real. Anyway, some of the thieves give you coins, and then the next, you back and forth. What's that called? When you hand cards back and forth?
Draft, yeah.
You're quote unquote drafting.
Yep.
So you pick a card and you play it, and then you hand your handful of cards to the other person, and then they anyway.
Yeah, and then you pick another card, and then you keep going like that until you're down to 1 card, and then you discard that last final card.
Yeah, and so then there's equipment cards, and those you have to pay coins for.
Yep.
And it's secret shades like sunglasses, a false bottom briefcase, an eavesdropper. So basically you're thieves and you're getting all this equipment so that you can break into these locations and steal some loot and move your mask from their side or from a neutral position over to your side, and you gain points that way.
Right. Yeah. No, that's absolutely correct. And basically all of that is just flavor on top of basically a set collection game.
Yeah.
And every card has really beautiful art on it. And then it just has a power it does.
Yeah.
So it'll give you coins, or it'll let you take a stolen goods, or it'll let you move your towards your side of the location track to win the location. And then there's 3 cards in the deck that allow you to destroy a card on the other player's side, which then reverses whatever that card gave to that person. So it could make them lose money or steps on the track
or goods. Yeah.
Those are kind of mean. I feel like in the 4 games that we played before recording,
we played it 4 times this week.
Yeah. I feel like we didn't use those very much at all.
We used it maybe 3 times, maybe.
Total out of the 3 games.
Yeah. And so the first game, that first night, it was fun until scoring. because it was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, okay, I get it. I got to do this. No, I got to do that too. Oh, I got it. There's like at least 5 different like aspects of it you got to be paying attention to,
right?
Which can get tiresome if you're playing at 6 o'clock at night.
Yeah. So
you won that game 60-34, and I felt so dumb. And I was like, well, this is pretty cool, whatever. And
so that I want to explain that score is because
you saw the system. You saw the code.
This is a very similar game to games I've played a lot of.
Yeah.
Right. It's like taking control of areas of cards, right? So I have a ton of way more complex dueling card games that are that same premise.
Yeah.
And so I understood already how to play. So I had an advantage.
Yeah.
Even though I'd not played the game before, I just kind of got it.
Yeah.
And so I had an advantage. And also, because I work with iconography all of the time, I understand how to read it and you know what I mean?
And absorb it and use it to your evil advantage.
Right. So that was a pretty lopsided score, but it's because you didn't understand the game as fully as I did in that first game.
So that first game, I learned pretty quickly to stop looking at the flavor and to pay attention to the ability instead. And what I mean by that is like, I got a hand and say there was the banker, which is like this like kind of greasy looking dude, or there's a mime, which is a mime.
Yeah.
And then there's like the actress, right? And she's kind of like, chill. Which one would I normally choose? I would go for the actress. Well, she has a pretty powerful thing. She gives you 3 masks and you can move that closer to your thing. Fine. But then you get another section. It's like the madam, and she's got like a little bit of a scary icon going, but she's an older lady and she's got the cigarette thing. Then there's like the smuggler, and then there's like the nun. And I'm like, oh boy, who do I pick? And so I had to, that first game, I was like, after we were done playing, I'm like, I have to stop thinking about, oh, I don't want a nun, or, oh, I don't want the auctioneer. He's creepy looking. And instead look at what the icons of their powers do.
Right. So you were focusing on the flavor of the character and going, oh, I don't want to hang out with this guy.
Yeah. Like, I don't want to talk to the illusionist because stop it.
So you were making decisions based on that instead of on what helped your icons power up and score.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's the best step for me to take based on the locations that were out there?
Yeah.
Because they give you a little bump for specific things. Like one will give you more points for yellow cards. One will give you more points for green cards or more goods or whatever.
Right.
And I wasn't looking at all the connections, right? It wasn't lining up for me because I was paying attention to the character.
Yeah.
And so stop looking at the flavor of it all and just go with whoever works better. And the mime was actually a really good choice several times because he has a better ability than whoever.
I noticed tonight in the 4th game that the cards are pretty balanced too. So like the nun, for instance, she lets you move the location track 1 step towards you, but also gives you 3 coins. Right?
Yeah.
Whereas like the actress lets you move 3, but gives you no coins.
Yeah.
Right? Because moving is really powerful for point scoring.
Yeah.
But coins are great for the gear round.
Yeah,
so
for
you're
the
like,
equipment.
Do I want to do 1 move and get 3 coins, or do I want to do 3 moves and no coins and then be not set up for the equipment?
Exactly. And then, so we played the second game and I did much better. I lost by 1 point.
1 point, yeah.
But it was way more evenly matched. It was 43-42.
Correct.
And I felt good about that one, but it's like 1 point.
Yeah.
1 point. So where did I screw up? And I don't feel like I did really necessarily, other than I kind of just all paid attention to my side and didn't pay attention to what you were doing.
Right.
Even though I think I won 2 locations, I wasn't paying attention to what you were doing.
Yeah.
I wasn't even affecting your thing at all. And sometimes maybe you should. Maybe you should care about what your opponent is doing and kind of hinder that one a little bit rather than.
No, for sure. You should definitely prevent your opponent from scoring their maximum points.
But it's hard to do because that's another plate you've got to.
It's another 3 plates you have to spend.
Yeah.
But I will say, after that first game, you said something along the lines, I can't remember exactly what it was, but something along the lines of you can't do everything. And I don't think you can focus on one thing. You have to do multiple things.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and I haven't said this to you before now, I've been saving it for the cast. For every other game that we played, I focused on one thing. Just to see if I could win that way.
Uh-huh. Well, you won game 3 as well.
Yeah.
By 3 points.
Also focusing on one thing.
And I put a little note here. It says, smack you. That's how I felt. At the end of that, it was like several times where you were like, I'm going to burn that one. I'm like,
we had a little irritating table talk going. Yeah.
I won.
You were upset
I think that was the night that I had a headache and I had stayed up and it was not a good day for me.
I think also I said, when are we going to play the game again so we can record on time?
Yeah, because you had this number 4 in your head, and I was like, what?
I feel like 4 is a good amount of times to play a game of that complexity and then be able to talk on it
right
with authority and like confidence, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I played it once, I wouldn't I know so much more about the game after playing it 4 times than I would have known one time, right?
The first pro of this game is it is very short. It is, 6 rounds, and it's very quick rounds after you get a hold of it.
Small box too, so
yeah. It is like 35 minutes. It's pretty. It's a very like quick, easy, fun one.
I've been saying I was gonna get rid of it after this, but I'll probably keep it because it is, like you're saying, it's quick to play. We haven't even explored the other city decks that are possible.
Right.
We just played the Paris deck every time because I wanted to like really figure out the game. And then because the box is small, it just doesn't take up a lot of space on the shelf. And so for me, that's starting to be a thing I weigh by. Like if this was a huge box, it'd be gone.
Yeah.
Right. Not because I think it's a bad game.
Right.
At all. But it's a game I feel like I would be okay if I never played it again.
Right.
Not to get too far ahead of us,
but like with the flavor thing, I learned something about myself that I'm not very strategy oriented unless I can see the whole picture of it or unless it like intrigues me or I have time to think about it for a long time.
Makes sense.
So a game like this kind of forces you into, okay, pick a way, like pick your style. And the art is really cool. It's got this like 60s vibe to it, almost a 60s like Art Deco-y kind of vibe.
The production is incredible.
Yeah,
like the art is amazing. The graphic design is amazing. The insert is great. The only complaint I have about the insert is that the coins area,
which we should have played with poker chips. I
should have pulled the nice poker chips out for that 4th game.
Yeah.
But the coins that the part of the insert they sit in, they have to be individually slotted into the 10 slots. And I'm like, bleh, just let me dump them into a little well.
Yeah.
But everything else about the insert is amazing. It's really sturdy. It's got a flocking on it even, like a fancy, like you might see in an old airport.
Oh.
I don't know. It's cool. It's a great production.
Speaking of coins, though, we just got done playing the 4th round of it, or the 4th game of it.
Yeah.
And I have a note here again that says coin theft. So there's this rule in the coins that if there's no coin, if you have coins and there's no coins to take out of the coin communal spot, then you get to take coins from your opposing opponent, which I feel is mighty, mighty bullshit.
No, but it makes sense to the theme of thievery, right? But
It does. You're right. Never mind.
You
But
also have to understand that it's a limited resource. So there's only 10 coins in the game.
I guess, yes. Okay.
And so if the coffers are ever empty, then you
Mhm.
just steal from your rival thieves.
Uh-huh.
But there's a caveat to that. If you have when you need to take a coin from a rival,
Mhm.
if you have an equal amount of coins, you may not take a coin. If they have more than you, you may. Then you check again. If you're owed another coin, you check again.
Uh-huh.
Okay, now we're equal. I can't take any more coins.
Uh-huh.
But you just get to keep taking them until you're equal.
Mm-hmm. So,
or more than, I guess. But if you're more than, you're not going to take a coin anyways.
yeah. So this game, I won this time. But
Did we talk about the third one? What was the score on the third one?
The score in the third one was 35-32.
Right.
But still by 3 points. But this one I was like, I got to do it. And I did it.
You did. What was the
did.
score?
It was me 50 to you 48.
Good. Solid.
But I finally did it, even after you stole my coins. And you know what I really like about having a board gaming husband?
What?
They, even when they lose, they go, you know, I could have just done this and that would have locked it in for me. I would have done this to you, taken away 3 points of yours. And that would have locked it in for me. I would have done this, and then you go through the whole maneuver of actually taking those things off of my, and then you're like, and then that would have gotten me it. That would have made it for me.
That would have been the one.
But where was that for me? Where was that strategy? You know, if you would have done this, you would have gotten me.
No, that's not fair. I did that for you on the third game. I said, if you would have done this thing and played this, and you was like, like you don't.
I just wasn't having it.
When you lose, you're like, no, I don't want to hear it. No, you know that comes from when I used to play Magic, Magic the Gathering, competitively.
Uh-huh.
When I would go over to practice at my buddy's house, we would play a game. Then we would talk about why that person won and why that person lost, and talk through like, oh, what could we have done differently? Oh, yeah, if I just had a bad draw.
Right.
Or yeah, if I'd have played this in this order,
Yeah.
you know, so I'm just used to doing that.
Yeah.
But I don't do it out of competitiveness. I do it out of, oh, that's interesting. If I'd have just made a slightly different choice, this would have changed, right? And I didn't see it in the game.
Mm-hmm.
I only see it now in hindsight, which I think is a fascinating thing. But I don't do that like...
No, you weren't being a dick about it. You were just like, it's what I like about having a board gaming husband is that they rip it all apart and then they go, that would have been mine. That would have been mine.
Well, I did almost do a thing that would have like lost you like 8 points or something.
I know.
But then I thought, at first I was like going to do it because I thought, oh, that's going to lose you 1 point. And you just lost me 2 points. So that's kind of fair because I like to play fairish, right?
Yeah.
And then I was like, you started to take the things and I was like, oh shit, no, that loses you way more points. I'm not going to do that. I don't want you to lose that many points.
Yeah.
I'll just play this card instead. Because I couldn't find a place that was like equal to the 2 points you lost me. Like every choice was either 3 points or 9 points. If you were
anyone else, you would have done it.
I would have done it. Yeah. Anybody else would have done it to you. Anyone else would have done it to you. Anyone else would have played every single one of those red cards they ever got.
That burns another player's card. Absolutely. Yeah.
But I personally like to see, can I win without these tricks?
Yes.
Because I feel like they're tricks.
And they're
a catch-up mechanism.
Yeah, they're rude.
Right? But you also don't really know what the scores are, right? You can tell part of the score before the game ends, but unless you're like a mathematical savant, you're not scoring the whole table all the time constantly.
Right.
Right? Because there's a lot of stuff going on.
Exactly.
But you can see, oh, you're winning that location. So you definitely have 7 points there. Right.
Yeah.
And so I could see that we were close and that like taking some points away from you might swing the game in my thing. But then I also thought, no, I think I have this because of this location over here. I'd gone so heavy. I had like 20 points in that location. Yeah. But it just wasn't enough at the end of the day.
I won by 2 points.
Yeah. You did a great job.
Damn it.
You did a great job. Yeah, you played that one. You played that game really strategically.
I tried to just throw everything out the window except for what I've learned through playing these 3 games previously. And like, okay, well, I learned this on the first game. I learned this on the second game.
Yeah.
The third one, keep your icons situated in your head, talk it through.
Yeah.
The whole thing.
I was really, really worried because you had 2 openings on the location I was winning.
Mm-hmm.
You had 2 openings to play equipment card there that could have lost me that. You only had to move that location thing 3 spaces and then neither one of us win.
Yeah.
And then I don't get to score.
Yeah.
Like I think it was 10 points there.
Mm-hmm.
I still get to score my thieves and the gear, but I don't get to score those points for the location. And so I was like, I was trying to use body language to keep your mind off that side. And I don't know if you noticed, I was like pointing towards your thing. And I kept playing cards there that would move your marker just enough that you'd be like, hey, what are you doing? And then you'd focus on that.
So rude.
No, because I knew that there was no chance of winning because I had doubled down so hard on that area that if you took that area away from me, there's no chance of winning.
Yeah.
So I was like... I wish people could see. I'm like,
you were like trying to ignore that spot on the table.
Like that's not a spot. What? Oh, what are you doing over there? Huh.
No, I got this locked down. Don't even look over here.
Well, that's the problem is the game. I mean, there is a certain point where I can look over and go, oh, she doesn't have any coins. I know the 2 cards I just passed her, so she can't play a card there, so I don't have to worry about it. But that wasn't the case tonight. You had cards that could fuck me up on that side. And so I was like, right. So yeah, it's an interesting game. I would like to try one of the other cities. Maybe not that super complicated one that we looked at, but one of the other ones just to see maybe it'll.
I like how after the first game, we're like, I don't think we're going to like this very much. Yeah. But then now we're like, oh, there's some merit here.
There might be something there, yeah. There might
All
be
right, so I scaled this one. Are you ready?
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. Do you want to do your score first and then I'll do mine?
Yes, okay. I did on a scale of Chris Pratt to Miss Marvel.
Yes,
okay.
Miss Marvel.
Where do I rate this game? Okay. I rate this game a Michael Scott, where you know what you're going to get, but you're like,
sometimes you're not in the mood.
I guess it could be worse. Let's try to use this to our advantage.
Nice.
Right?
Yeah. I like it.
There you go. What do you rate it?
I would give it a 3 out of 5.
Oh, a 3.
Yeah.
Nice.
Like I don't hate it. I'm not like, oh, I got to play more of this. Like we have a couple of games that are this weight where I'm like, oh, I think about it all the time. I'm like, oh, I want to play that game all the time. And this is not one of those, but it could be. Like if one of the other cities adds some, like I feel like after the 4 games, I've seen everything Paris has to offer.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
The Paris deck.
That's what I'm talking about. But like I can see what's coming. I know what's out there. How do I use that differently or better to my advantage than, earlier, previously.
And I think if the Paris deck was the only deck, like if they didn't have 3 other cities to choose from, I'd maybe score this lower and wouldn't have any interest in playing again.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, I think it's a good game. It's not a favorite game. It's not a game I'm going to gush about or like, oh my God, dude, you got to check this out. But I wouldn't tell people not to play it.
Yeah.
And
it's a good 2-person.
Yeah. And it's also an inexpensive game, readily available. I think you can get it on Amazon or any online board game shop.
Nice.
Probably can get it in your local board game shops if you're still going out into the world.
And it was fun playing it with you.
That's for me. That's the best part, right?
Yeah.
Is the partner playing with you, right? Even when you get snippy or like you're like, what are you fucking doing?
You stole my coin.
That's my coin, dude.
It was my coin.
Even when that happens, I still really love playing games with you.
Oh.
So anyways, and I also love you.
I love you too.
All right. Bye-bye. If you enjoyed this episode of the Lou and Me podcast, subscribe on iTunes, YouTube, or Spotify.
And follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Lou and Me Podcast.
Lou and Me is a Matthiasaurus production, produced and edited by Moose. The song is No Carpets by the New Forevers, hosted by Lou and me.
Thanks for listening.